Good morning, everybody. Samantha, can you hear me now? Okay. Andy, are you online there?
I am, but I am currently taking one of my kids to school.
Okay. Angie Lucas, did you get on? Okay. Well, right now, Andy and Samantha, we do not have a quorum. So we need to wait until, I'm assuming, I only heard one of our committee members was not going to be able to join us. So let's give this another minute. And if we don't have a quorum, Samantha, I think you and Bill should go ahead and present these options, and we'll give you the consensus we can give, but we can't take a vote approving what you recommend. So does that make sense, Samantha?
Yep, that sounds fine. Thank you.
Okay. All right. Hi, Angie. Angie, you're muted.
Sorry about that. I couldn't find the link.
That's okay. All right, so we have 3 of our 5 members. So we've at least got a quorum. We can go through this.
Okay.
And what I have to do first is call this meeting to order. And I'm not going to take a roll call. We have Angie Lucas, Andy Potts, myself from the committee on the call. We do not have Miranda Byers, Joey Mulkowski, or Joe Maldonado. So we actually don't have a quorum. We've got half our committee here, but we're going to go ahead and call the meeting to order. I can't approve the minutes without a quorum, so we'll save that. We'll skip on down to, do we have anybody on the line, any public appearances for non-agenda items that you see, Nick? Okay. All right, we're going to keep moving through this then, and what I want to do is I want to move down and cover item 4D, which is review and provide feedback on the intersection alternatives at McCoy and South Saline Road Cap City Trail. I want to introduce Samantha from the K&L Engineering Company, who has sent us out some alternatives to look at, which you were all received last night. So Samantha and Bill, I'm going to turn the program over to you, and if we get a quorum, by the time you're done, we'll give you a vote on what alternative we recommend. Does that make sense?
That sounds great. Thank you.
Okay, floor is yours.
Here, I apologize. I was trying to share screen and I shared the wrong screen. Let me try to grab this again.
While Samantha's setting up, I'll just give you a brief overview of how we came to this. Back in 2020, we submitted for a hazard or highway improvement grant for safety to the Department of Transportation for the intersection of McCoy and Saline. This was in part due to the high number of accidents that we had there, and we saw some capacity issues and bike crossing issues with the Cap City Trail. So we submitted for this grant. We received the grant, and we had submitted a proposal for an intersection alignment that would make Saline Road straight through, and McCoy would tee into the intersection. As we got into the details of the design, we saw the components that needed to be, moved around and evaluated. And what we found was that there was a section of trail that comes along Saline Road that would not be able to be potentially condemned for any land taking. It's against the state statutes to do that for any pathways. So we took a look at how we could realign that path so that we could still improve the path through that area and still be able to take the land if we needed to, or to be able to make those improvements. So when we did that, we came up with several alternatives that we're vetting with the Department of Transportation and the Bicycle Committee and Dane County because it does impact the Cap City Trail pathway crossing. So with that, I'll let Sam take it over and give, a little bit more history or a little, more specifics on where we are with that and the alternatives that we came up with.
Thank you, Bill. Samantha, we'll turn the floor over to you. Committee members, I would ask that you hold your questions and comments until Samantha's finished so we can get through the presentation. So Samantha, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much. So right now I have on my screen the realigned alternative 1. Is that what you guys are seeing?
Yep.
Yes.
Perfect. So like Bill mentioned, we did some shifting of Sain Road. So rather than it being straight north and south because of some real estate acquisition complications, we added a horizontal curve to the alignment. It's still a T intersection with McCoy Road teeing in and with Capital City Trail becoming part of that signalized intersection. Of the 3 alternatives, this alternative leaves the trailhead driveway just to the north of the intersection. It's about 100 feet north, which is, not an ideal spacing. We'd like to have it further away. So what we came up with was a couple of additional alternatives. And you can see in alternative 2, what we've done is shifted the driveway so it will become part of that signalized intersection. And alternative 3 also has that driveway as part of the signalized alternative, part of the signalized intersection. But what this alternative does is it realigns the Capital City Trail to go around the north side of the trailhead. So it's the unnamed north-south city trail crosses the driveway right at the intersection, and then there's no other driveway conflict. I was able to connect with Dane County Parks late yesterday, and they have reviewed these 3 alternatives internally. They will be sending me their thoughts in writing here shortly, but they were able to verbally let me know that their preference is alternative 3. But I know in the packet we provided some pros and cons for all of these alternatives, and ultimately what city staff and KL Engineering are recommending are either alternative 3 or alternative 2, which are the 2 signalized alternatives. So going back to alternative 1 again, this is the one where the driveway remains north of the intersection. This is the least expensive alternative, but also presents the problem of having this driveway be in the area where during really busy times of traffic is potentially going to be queuing back up to that driveway area, making it harder for people to get into and out of that trailhead. Alternative 2 is sort of the middle of the road from a cost perspective. There's some additional utility impacts in comparison to alternative 1, same additional utility impacts for alternative 3. Those are similar in those ways. Also similar between alternative 2 and 3 for wetland impacts. But if we're looking between alternative 2 and alternative 3, what alternative 3 does is it only has this one trail crossing of the driveway, where alternative 2 has the unnamed city trail crossing the driveway here, and then the Capital City Trail crossing the driveway again here. So hopefully that gives you guys kind of enough of an overview to get an idea of what we're talking about for those different alternatives. If you have any questions, we can go over those. And I did want to just really quickly mention that the intent of this setup is that this intersection will function very similar to the MM and McCoy Road signalized intersection that was just recently completed. Although I did want to note that we did a site visit on Friday and determined that the signals were not timed per plans. So the push buttons for the pedestrian and bicycle crossings are not functioning the way that the plan had called out. So we're working with the contractor to have that resolved.
Bill, any feedback from the city staff here before we go into discussion?
No, I think Sam did a pretty good job of laying things out. I'm glad that the county did weigh in on what their preference was. Alternative one, we felt really wasn't a viable option just due to the proximity of the intersection and having the traffic backing up through that crossing. It didn't provide a very good area for people to get in and out of that parking lot there. Alternative 3 is a good alternative just because it does provide less crossings for impacts for bikes. It gets it around the parking lot, and I think that our preference would be, pursuing alternative 3 from the city standpoint.
Okay, thank you, Bill. Samantha, before I open it up for discussion with others, I have 2 questions. I'll start off the questions, I guess. Are they going to pave, or Samantha, Bill, are they going to pave the parking lot there at all? When they go in and redo things, it's going to stay gravel as it is?
They don't have any immediate plans for repaving that area. So it's not on any of their short term.
It's not a big issue. I just was queried because they're going to have, if they move the trail, they're going to be doing some asphalt work over there anyway. The second question is to you and Bill, from my standpoint. It looks like option 3 is the safest as well. I think we understand, 1, you explained it pretty well, and 2's got you crossing that pathway twice and then crossing Cyane. Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay. And functioning like MM is very helpful. Yes, I've had a chance to look at these. I want to see what the other committee members, what input do you have, folks? Questions, concerns from what we've heard?
I personally, this is Angie, I personally like number 3 also. I feel like that's going to be the safest way for people to be crossing.
Andy?
Yeah, I agree. I think 3 seems like the safest, with minimizing the number of crossings.
And I agree with my 2 colleagues on the committee. So since we don't have a quorum, Samantha and Bill, we can at least give you our consensus that we support option 3 unanimously.
All right.
Folks that were here. And my sense you can take it forward. Our next committee meeting isn't until February 7th. So you're going to probably need to move forward from this. And if you need more than that, Bill, let me know. We'll call a special meeting, but we tried.
Right.
This came about very quick, Samantha. We weren't going to have a meeting this month, so people's schedules got changed around, but we tried to get everybody together. So, but I think I agree with what you've presented, with what folks have said, and I think you've got to at least give you a consensus you can use.
All right, I appreciate it.
So,
Thank you very much. We appreciate that.
I'm sorry, what?
Thank you very much. We appreciate that.
You're very welcome, and thanks for all of K&L's Engineering's work around the city you do for us. So, and on behalf of the Bike Committee, I would like to thank Ms. Lobdell for becoming a bike-friendly business. So thank you for that, too. Anyway, okay, I don't think we need Bill and Samantha anymore. You can feel free to leave. You can feel free to stay on. All I'm going to do, Andy and Angie, is just give you a couple of informational items. And then we'll get off the call. So unless you folks have anything you want to bring up, I'm just going to cover the other items on the agenda. We won't take any action on them. As far as 4A, trail etiquette signs, Chad Breckland, the city manager, has freed up some extra money in the parks budget to buy some of those yellow trail signs from the city of Madison. And I want to put 4 or 6 of them up around our trails. When we get a detail on when they're going to be here, I'll let you folks know where they're going to go. If you've got ideas, let me know too. But we've got money for that, so that's a good thing. At the same time, we're going to get some more parking stalls in our parks. Scott Endel's working with me on that, and we have a little bit of money. We've approached Saris. I sent the guy an email, have not heard back from him. Saris is undergoing a little bit of a change, as you know, but we were given a name to contact. So if we don't reach it, we'll reach out to somebody else, but we got to commit to these by the end of the year. We did have, they had 5 to 6 current Fitchburg parking stalls, those ones that were with the city logo on them. We're sitting in the warehouse. We're going to put those at the McKee Farms pickleball court so people can start driving over there next spring as soon as they can pour concrete again. And then moving quickly to item C, I sent you folks draft priorities for 2023, staying with our focus on gold, on safety, and we'll be adding a couple of new ones. So you have a draft. It's not ready for prime time because Phil has not weighed in on it. For the record, Phil Groupie, our bike liaison, is on paternity leave for a couple more weeks, I think. But I want to give us something to go for as we move forward in 2023 to keep us focused. Secondly, Bike Fitchburg has also developed a set of their priorities, and we're pretty aligned with them on what we're trying to focus on. And I see Angie nodding her head. She was at the last meeting. One that we're going to expand on in these priorities is senior cycling in our city. We've had a couple of phone calls and emails from seniors wanting us to do more. Tony and I and Steve Arnold have also had a chat with Jill Mahone and Dave Hill, who is is also an active bike rider, but is the recreation director. We're going to have a get-together, I hope by the end of the year, we just brainstorm and work on a strategy for 2023. Andy Potts has been identified as someone who can help us with that, with his state connections. So we're going to have a meeting on that, and there'll be more to come. Other than that, the other thing that's not on the priority list is that Bike Fitchburg, and we've asked as a committee, when is the bike ped plan from 2017 going to be updated? And I heard from Mike Zimmerman that they're going to be closing TID, I think it's number 4. Does that sound right, Bill? I'm looking at you.
Yep.
They're going to be closing TID number 4 in the middle of next year. So they're going to put money into it that we can update the bike ped plan in the year 2024. I'm sorry, they're closing TID in 2023, and money's going to be available in 2024, I think. And at any rate, the bike ped plan is going to be on that list. So we will have some input as that goes forward, and it's on the city's radar screen. I think that's fine. The old plan is 7 years old. It's time to look at it, but we've also got to have money to have a consultant help us get through it. So that will be coming forward. I will add that to our priorities. So I'm going to stop. Is there anything else the committee members want to add or talk about? Angie, Andy, have we missed anything?
I don't think so. It was great to see what these plans were, and I was glad we were still able to get together and talk about a few things today.
I want to give Bill a shout out for that. So thank you for reaching out to me,
Absolutely.
because we have asked since I've been on the committee and I know you're getting ready to step aside as the Director of Public Works, but I would ask that your successor do the same. Keep us involved where we can help and give feedback. It will make things better down the road in the long run. So thank you for that, for pulling this together.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Thanks, Angie. Andy, anything you have to add?
I don't have anything.
Okay. Well, I don't even think we need a motion to adjourn since we don't have a quorum. So I will let you folks go on about your day. I thank you for calling in. I will send a note to the other committee members just to let them know that we reached consensus on number 3, that the city staff was there with that, as was the Dane County. So I'll do
Mark,
that. Yes.
Mark, did you want to mention anything about all the hard work that you and Steve have been doing?
Yes.
About the application?
Thank you.
Isn't that due in February?
Yes, I tried to keep this meeting short. I've been working with Steve Arnold for the last probably 2 to 3 months to develop the application with the Bike League of America, hopefully moving us from silver to gold. We are 90% through, and I hope we can have a draft knocked out this Friday. Then we can get out to members of the bike committee, certain members of Bike Fitchburg, and key city staff to look at this thing, and as well as the chamber, and that we're going to submit it the middle of January. So if you've got feedback when you get it, please get it back to us as soon as possible. I think it is 87 pages of documentation. So it isn't something that we've been able to do and sit down and be done in 10 minutes. It's taken a while, but I think we've done enough personally to get us where we need to go, because we've been following their directions. And I really am comfortable that we've worked closely together with this committee, our city staff, and and Bike Fitchburg to have a cohesive document. So thank you for reminding me of that. And now I do not have anything else. So I don't even need a motion. So with this, we'll close the meeting. And Nick, I will do a brief set of minutes that at least say what we did do today, and since we didn't have a quorum, so. Okay? So you folks have a nice day. See you later. Thanks for getting up and coming in, or coming on.
Have a good one.
Thanks.